Magandang gabi mga kababayan. Sa ating programang pag-usapan natin, ating makakapanayam ang kasulukuyang spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Trinidad. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Admiral Trinidad.
Yes, good evening, Shari, at sa mga taga-subaybay ng programa nyo.
Maraming salamat po. Sir, bago po ang lahat, bago tayo tumungo sa mga malalalim na tanong at diskusyon, ano nga ba ang mandato po ng Philippine Navy?
The Philippine Navy is tasked to provide for the naval defense of the country.
Ngayon, pinag-uusapan na natin ang security and defense of the country. Tumungo naman tayo sa isang napakainit na usapin, sir, ang West Philippine Sea. So, paano po ba nag-umpisa itong agawan sa teritoryo over the West Philippine Sea?
I'll try to bring you back to the 90s. And anything earlier than that might be too far, Shari. In 1992, with the pull of the U.S. bases, there was a power vacuum in the South China Sea.
Okay.
1993, the Philippine Navy started noticing markers in our reefs, shoals, shallow areas.
Paano po ang itsura ng markers na ito? Just to visualize for our televiewers.
Yung iba nito medyo mababa lang, 5 feet high.
Alright.
Concrete, yung iba nakapatong sa corals. Marami sa mga ito were up to 30 feet high. Matataas. Pinapasabog to ng ating mga Philippine Navy, ng Special Warfare Group natin. This went on from 93, 94 until we ran out of explosives. They built them faster than we could blow them up.
Okay.
In 1994, we noticed that Mischief Reef, we were now barred access to Mischief Reef. Historically, Filipino fishermen and fishermen from the region and the Philippine Navy would seek shelter in Mischief Reef.
So what did we do, sir, to address that?
Their Navy prevented our Navy from coming in. There were standoffs, gray ship to gray ship. And then we started noticing that they were putting up shelters, wooden structures, which they called fishermen shelters. Then they slowly concretized this and said that these are merely for maritime research.
Okay.
But this was now creeping towards mainland Palawan. 1999, the government ran aground LS-57 BRP Sierra Madre to serve as our frontier to stop the creeping invasion of the Chinese Communist Party. All of this in the 90s coincided with a shipbuilding spree in mainland China. So we were able to notice in the late 90s, early 2000s, an increase of their maritime patrols
Okay.
by the gray ships.
Sir, if I may ask po, if I may interject a bit, how did we address these actions from the Chinese naval force?
Yes, we noticed there was an increase in the ships. We tried to increase as much as we could. But in the 90s and early 2000s, we were focusing on the internal security picture. 2009, 2010, we had some newer ships already that we could put into the West Philippine Sea.
Okay.
2012, we had the Scarborough incident. And then we noticed that they were now increasing their presence and their actions. 2013, 2014, they had massive reclamation. They destroyed the environment. They established naval bases, airstrips, military bases with military-grade communications, military-grade sensors. Soon, this became harboring areas for their ships, their warships, and their military aircraft. Then the Coast Guard law came into effect. They established their own Coast Guard, which were actually former PLA Navy gray ships painted white.
Okay.
That's why, compared to other Coast Guards of the world, the Chinese Coast Guard is one of the most robust. 2019, 2020, when they already militarized these features that they had, we saw an increase in their aggressiveness.
Okay.
Water cannoning, nudging, not only actually to the Philippine Navy, but to all warships passing the region
Okay.
from other countries as well. 2020 to 2024 to the current times, we have seen water cannoning, we have seen the laser incident to the Philippine Coast Guard, we have seen the aggressive action on air. All of this started in 1992 after the pullout of the U.S. bases.
Yeah.
I would like to highlight the statement of the Commander-in-Chief, our President, when he said 2 years ago when he went to Visayas Command in Cebu, the AFP has a new mission set. We are now shifting from internal security to external defense. I would like to put on record, Shari, that this is the first policy statement of a commander-in-chief that the AFP is shifting to external defense orientation.
Yeah.
This was amplified a year later by the Secretary of National Defense that we will be implementing a comprehensive archipelagic defense concept wherein the AFP should be able to secure and protect all the way up to the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone and even beyond that.
Okay.
These two policy pronouncements, Shari, gave the impetus for the AFP to change and to adapt to the bigger requirement of defense and security.
So a while ago, you were able to mention na merong reclamation efforts from their end. Ano po exactly ang ginawa natin to address that?
This first came to the fore in 2012-2013. Joint headquarters informed the National Security Council. There were efforts to bring this out to the international community,
Yeah.
saying that this is not only a Philippine problem. This will be an international problem later on. The AFP increased its presence, exposure in Western Command.
Okay.
But again, we were still fighting then the internal security conflict, and we were looking at the external picture. But our awareness was already there. We internationalized the issue. We brought this up when we would have discussion with our treaty ally and our partners and like-minded nations. So the effort was already there
Yes.
to bring this out to the international community and to the internal audience.
You've mentioned all the actions, all the measures that you were able to do. Hindi lang ho actually yung Philippine Navy, no? Pero yung buong sandatahang lakas ng ating bansa. And even with the policy statements of the President. Ngayon, even after all of those things, why do you think tuloy-tuloy ang aggression ng China?
It is part of the expansionist ambitions of the Chinese Communist Party. I would like to be very clear, Shari. We're not against China. I am, I think, 1/8 or 1/16 Chinese. My grandmother is full-blooded Chinese. What we're after is the Chinese Communist Party, the grip on power internally, and their projection of actions which are not based on the international rules-based order in the maritime domain. Not only the maritime domain, but externally. So they have global ambitions. Now, if we focus on the region, South China Sea, a part of that, within our maritime zones is the West Philippine Sea. Their actions will keep continuing if we do not project or show that we are strong enough to stand up to them.
Ano ho ba yung mawawala sa mga Pilipino sakaling hindi tayo lumaban para sa ating karapatan over the West Philippine Sea?
Alam mo, Shari, yung sinabi ng ating presidente na not 1 square inch, ito ay battle cry ng ating AFP. Sapagkat we are protecting our maritime entitlements, hindi para sa atin, but for the next generation of Filipinos.
Merong mga nagsasabi, bakit daw hindi tayo outright na lumalaban doon sa quote-unquote bullying ng China?
There are many approaches, Shari. At the highest level of government, there are different instruments of national power or different dimensions. Political, economic, social, cultural, techno-scientific, military, environmental, financial, information, legal. Marami yan. It's up to the national command authorities what particular instrument of power to utilize. Being in the armed forces, we belong to the military instrument of national power. The actions could be one particular instrument of national power, a combination with others. Hence, we leave it up to our national command authorities what particular approach to take. Hindi naman ibig sabihin, pag ginawan tayo ng isang action or na nagbubuli sa atin, ay gagawa rin tayo ng ganon. Just because the other side, the adversary, goes against international law, doesn't mean we will respond to that. Yung batas, yung ating kasangga. The law is our weapon and our shield. So we should be very sure, tayo mismo, we should be within the bounds of international and domestic law.
Kanina rin ho, kausap natin ang National Historical Commission about sa nababalita sa social media na claims din ng China na kung hindi naging bahagi, ay bahagi ng kanilang bansa ang Palawan. What can you say about it?
In a closed state where power is centralized to the ruling elite, social media is suppressed, freedom of expression is regulated. Anybody could say what they want so long as it is approved by the ruling elite. Although this was a social media post, we don't know. Maaring ito ay sinadya to send out wrong information, disinformation, malinformation, part of malign influence, to check the reaction of the Filipino population. For all we know, it may have been designed to appease internal dissent for the internal population. So we don't know. But what I'm pointing out here is, in a closed state, social media posts should be given equal importance, as this could be a left-hand effort of the ruling elite or the Chinese Communist Party. Although I would like to say it is totally absurd. It's a product of their imagination.
We've mentioned earlier that through the diplomatic protest, we garnered support from the international community as well. Ano-ano yung forma ng suporta ang ibinibigay nila or in-offer nila sa atin at this point?
From other countries,
Yes.
Shari. First and foremost, the thrust of our government has been to internationalize the issue. Number two, military diplomacy. The Department of National Defense has been very robust in engaging like-minded countries who have a stake in the maritime domain. If you look at in the recent past, we have had very good agreements signed and are about to be signed with Australia, New Zealand, Japan, the RAA. We're looking at India, UK, France, Canada. We're looking at Vietnam. All of these are bringing together like-minded countries. And it's nice to see that they don't only support us in word, but also in deed. They send their warships to train, to conduct maritime cooperative activities or joint sails, joint patrols. They send their aircraft for joint patrols, surveillance flights. They send their soldiers to train with our army guys on the ground. In short, the engagement between these like-minded countries and the armed forces is a testament, is a very strong message that these countries are for the international rules-based order.
Can you give us a message para naman po sa mga tropa natin na nasa West Philippine Sea at syempre mensahe po natin para sa taong bayan?
Yes, alam niyo, sa lahat ng kasundaluhan ng ating armed forces, whether you are on sea, air, or land, nasaan man kayo, ito ay laban ng bawat Pilipino. Hindi lamang laban ng Army, ng Navy, o ng Air Force. Hindi lamang laban ng AFP. Ito ay laban ng buong bansa. Sapagkat ang nakataya dito ay yung kinabukasan, yung kabuuan ng Pilipinas. Kailangan ang maibigay natin sa mga susunod na henerasyon ng mga Pilipino ay isang bansa na buo. Maraming salamat, Shari, and God bless us all.
Maraming salamat po, sir. Napaka-mayaman ng ating diskusyon. At yan po ang ating naging panayam kasama si West Philippine Sea Spokesperson Admiral Roy Trinidad. Magbabalik po ang pag-usapan natin.